In this video, I'm going to show you a simple solution for a strong foundation in your EMT conduit builds. And this comes from Meg and John from Walnuts and Wineberries, who recently made this really fantastic solar panel array system. And essentially, this solution allows you to anchor your builds. You know, if you've got a freestanding project that you don't want to just have the vertical legs going to the ground and you want to have a sturdy base for it, this solution is going to be exactly what you need. And essentially what this is known as a wedge anchor for concrete. And Meg and John recommended the Redhead brand, and they recommended a 1/4 inch diameter to fit with the micro pipe flanges. That's what they used. And essentially it's just this threaded anchor that goes down into the concrete, and then as you tighten the nut, it expands inside of the concrete and provides an anchor in there, which is really fantastic. And this was not too complicated to do. I was surprised. Essentially what you want to do is just, I set out my flange, put it on top of this concrete block here, and then just mark the 4 holes so I could get them right. And I still got them a little off, so you want to be careful, of course, when you're doing this to make sure you get all 4 holes lined up. But essentially mark the 4 holes, and then you want to drill 4 holes, and you want it to be the same diameter of the anchor itself. So I just got a 1/4 inch masonry bit. You want to make sure that if you're drilling into concrete, and like I said, I did a block here, which it says not to do, but I think it worked just fine. But you could do this if you've got a concrete patio and you want to anchor your build. We've seen some people do that in the past with their project. But either way, if you're doing this in a block or some kind of paver, or if you're doing it in cement that you set out specifically for this build, which I think is what Meg and John did, whatever it is that you do, you want to make sure you have a masonry bit. And I just use my impact. You're supposed to use a hammer drill, or especially if you're doing it in actual like big concrete patio, or just concrete in general. But I just got a masonry bit for my impact, and it worked out really well. It was really easy to drill through this block here. And essentially, you just want to drill a hole, and then you're going to hammer this down into the concrete, and then you just put the washer and nut that they give you on top, and then you just tighten it down. And then as you get to the very bottom and you begin to tighten it, it expands inside of there. And it says that you're supposed to use a torque wrench, but you can also just use a socket and a wrench and just make sure to tighten it. Once you get to the very bottom, you'll feel it get really tight as you go. And so I just kept going until I pretty much couldn't anymore. And so I'm pretty confident that the anchor is expanded in there and holding just fine. If you've got a torque wrench, of course, use that to the specs. But then essentially you have these studs sticking up that you can then build off of. And I've got 4 here because I'm using the Maker Pipe standard flange. But Meg and John use the adjustable angle flange in their project. But essentially you just use the studs sticking up, and then you can just use the hardware that's supplied. And then now you've got a base for your build. And I'll go ahead and put these on here so I can show you, what it looks like once it's all together. And I'll kind of lift it up here, and you can see that it's holding just fine. Let's see, let me tighten these down. And as you're tightening it, it expands underneath. I've already gone through and tightened it a lot before I put the flange in place, which I definitely recommend. But then once you tighten this in place, like I said, it's just expanding down there in the concrete. But I've just got 2 on there so far, but I'll go ahead and lift this up. As you can see, get some reps in. But that is really strong and just going to be a fantastic solution. So you can imagine having one of these at the bottom of each vertical in your build, and then you can build your whole project and have a really steady base. You can bury this underground if you wanted to. There are a lot of possibilities with this, and I think it's just a really strong foundational option for your empty conduit project. So thanks so much to Meg and John for sharing this hack with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful and useful. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.